Continuing with the Star Trek movies, we look at Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I'm going to say this up front. This is not quite the best Star Trek movie. And I'll be getting on to more of why that is as I review upcoming films. But this is quite the solid movie. I'm sure you're aware of it. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is the one that most of the Star Trek movies seem to recycle something out of. So we're starting out, there is James Horner's got a new score for us. We see we're going to be introduced to Kirstie Alley, and she appears to be a captain aboard a bridge. There's a whole lot of Enterprise crew aboard, looking quite a bit older than these younger guys. And there's this situation. This is the Kobayashi Maru. And I completely said that wrong because it's 130 degrees. And I am losing my goddamn mind. Busting my ass for 5 views. So, oh shit, the hoodie's coming off. The Kobayashi Maru has sent out a signal, Starfleet. Yeah, we're in the neutral zone, we have a problem. Oh no, there's Klingons coming in, what are we gonna do? Alright, we have to try to save them. Oh, now we're under attack. Alright, people are dying, Spock's dead, Bones is dead, everybody's getting lit up. And Kirstie Alley gives the signal for everybody to get to the life pods. And so the door opens up, and it's Captain Kirk, and he's like, alright, I'm Captain Kirk, I'm making a good entrance. Smoking shit, and he's like, yeah, I'm a badass. And then everybody was faking me dicks, they're on a simulator. They're actually in San Francisco at Starfleet headquarters, doing some shit with interns. It's Captain Kirk, now Admiral Kirk, of course. Yeah, it's his birthday, and Spock's giving him a gift. Bones comes and sits down with him, gives him reading glasses. Says that usually he prescribes something for him, but he's allergic to it, so he has to have reading glasses. He's getting old. How does it feel to be old? And that's a reoccurring theme with this movie, is old talk, right? Well, meanwhile, there is the USS Reliant, or what Federation, whatever they call the Reliant, is a ship that is hanging out with this science probe, space station, and they're looking for a planet to test this thing called the Genesis device. And so they go down to the SETI Alpha 6, I believe it is. That's what they say. They go down there and they find that there are some possible life forms. They have to scout it out. Paul Winfield, the black cop guy that kind of believed Kyle Reese in the Terminator, and Chekhov go down there. And you might want to notice here that they appear to be in the same space suits as in Star Trek the Motion Picture. Meanwhile, everybody else has a new getup, a new, very much more formal wear while they're on the ship. And yeah, this is the uniform that becomes associated with the Star Trek films in the original timeline, that is. Original timeline, original cast. But the engine room, Scotty, the other engineers, still have uniform from the motion picture. So keep that in mind. So they're looking around, they find this cargo hold, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, Botany Bay, we gotta get out of here. What's Botany Bay? And they get captured by these guys dressed up as the Sand People from Star Wars. The guy takes off his mask, he's revealed to be Khan Noonien Singh. And so he's like, you're Captain Kirk, marooned me here. I recognize your face, Chekhov. I never forget a face. Here's the problem. I haven't personally seen the episode, but I believe Chekhov is not in the episode that features Khan. Is it called Space Seed or something? This is the one about Khan's origin and how he's a superhuman from like 1996, and he's been cast off to Earth. Well, he's been cast off Earth. He's in space and shit, right? I haven't actually seen the episode, but my understanding of it is that Chekhov is not in that, so they could have sent anybody to go spill the beans to Khan, and they sent the wrong guy. So anyways, he's over there telling them about this Genesis device and all this shit, and that this was actually SETI Alpha 5, SETI Alpha 6 exploded, kicked this into orbit, and now it's not a fertile land. Love of my life was marooned here by your now Admiral Kirk. I'm gonna get my revenge. There's a book of Moby Dick on the shelf, and so they quote Moby Dick a couple times, or at least paraphrase it. Oh shit, what is that? Oh, a guy in a tractor. So anyways, yeah, they're going on about this Moby Dick motif. Chekhov tells the scientists working on the Genesis probe that they need to go and hand over whatever, something they have orders from Admiral Kirk. Admiral Kirk tries to get some stuff from him, some information, but it's being jammed because Khan was able to take over the Reliant, and he left most of that crew marooned on City Alpha 5/6, whatever you want to call it. And so Khan is slowly getting the upper hand on everybody. As the Enterprise approaches, this is Admiral Kirk. He's supposed to be there to oversee the new crew in some way, but he inserts himself as acting captain, even though Spock is actually the captain. And so he starts this duel with Khan. However, you gotta keep in mind that for Captain Kirk here, or Admiral Kirk, he doesn't know that the Reliant isn't unfriendly. They're approaching with their shields down, they get hit, they lose capacity. Oh, they knew right where to hit them, huh? But then they start doing some subversive stuff. They're gonna give over. It's like, hey, it's me you want, Khan. Leave my crew alone. Okay, fine. I'm gonna give you some time because I'm a patient man, whatever. Now, send me what I want and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, you're getting your codes and stuff. They send a code over that jams the Reliant back to them in a sense, takes down their shields, and now the Reliant is in the same position. They're fighting it out. Phasers going everywhere and all this shit. But the Enterprise has to kind of sneak away. They go to the science ship, where they come across Dr. Marcus, who is a one-time love of. Well, they don't really they come across just a bunch of dead bodies. They're like, hey, they teleported somewhere. Well, let's go. Yeah, but with the Enterprise isn't going to be able to get us. We could be stuck. I'll just deal with it. 2 days, 6 days, whatever. They said that, hey, Enterprise, if you don't hear from us in an hour, get out of here. Well, they go down on this planet. They go in this cave. They meet Dr. Marcus and her son. Also, Dr. Marcus. Shit, is it David? Isn't that what they call him, David? So, they're having a bit of a skirmish. Paul Winfield, Chekhov were there, but they're kind of like spies. They're relaying information to Khan, and so Paul Winfield's under orders to kill Admiral Kirk, but instead he turns the face around himself, kills himself. Some sound emits, and this scares away these earworms that got into that were manipulating their mind. That compliment earlier that I forgot to mention because it's 103 degrees out here. And so we have a situation where the earworm gets out of Chekhov, and now he's okay, and mournful and all this stuff. But anyways, Dr. Marcus says, hey, so this Genesis stuff, yeah, it's powerful. It can make a planet that is completely lifeless. It can turn into lust force station and all this stuff. It took the Army Corps of Engineers, whatever, a while to dig out this tunnel, but wait till you see what we did in this cave. So they go into the cave, and it's like, and yeah, there's vegetation, all this stuff. I think Kirk sits down and eats an apple, and we have this situation where Kirstie Alley Saavik, she's a Vulcan lieutenant. They keep calling her Mr. Saavik, but you know, like they would say Mr. Spock. Is Mr. a rank? What the hell? So anyways, she's like, how did you ever beat the Kobayashi Maru? And he's like, well, I cheated. I made it a winnable scenario. So you never faced the no-win scenario? I don't believe in the no-win scenario. Eats an apple. Then they beam out. It's like, hey, you lied. Well, we stretched the truth. It wasn't going to be days, it's just going to be an hour before we beam back, and had the capability to do so. Now we're going to go pursue the Reliant, and they chase into a nebula, or they try to level the playing field. Now, something that kind of bothers me is that they keep talking about how intelligent Khan is. Yours is the superior intellect. What? Why do you have to keep saying the guy is smart instead of it seeming as though we see him being smart? Because his tactics lack experience. He does two-dimensional tracking instead of going up and down. Enterprise is able to lose him, sweep in from below, hit him in the back. They're taking the ship out. Khan's like, oh, well, I got the last laugh. What the hell, a stab at thee, blah, blah, blah. He has the Genesis device and he's gonna arm it. And he's arming the thing, and it looks a lot like the self-destruction in Alien, 1979. You know, like the cylinders that have to be pushed in. So he's doing this, and the Enterprise can't escape because they've lost too much power and shit. Their lithium crystals are off, whatever. Spock takes it upon himself. He goes down into the engine room. He knocks out Bones, tells him to remember, gets over to the engine stuff, puts on some gloves, fiddles with some shit. And then they're able to fix the ship, but he's taking in a lot of radiation, and they're able to get out of there in time. The nebula that they were in becomes the new Genesis planet. But they're told, hey, you gotta come down here, Captain Kirk, or Admiral Kirk, you gotta get down here. He goes down to the engine room. He sees Spock is in danger. They can't get him out of there. He's already dead, Captain. So they have a monologue here, or a dialogue actually. And how is the ship safe? Yeah, you save the ship. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. The one. I will and shall ever be your friend. Spock, live long and prosper, right? You know, it's easy to rag on William Shatner here for his acting in many places. He acts the shit out of this. Him and Leonard Nimoy. Like, this is quite the poignant death scene here. We then have Spock's like funeral casket / torpedo being loaded up at Torpedo Bay, and give him some final words. In all my travels, all the souls I've encountered, his was the most human. I love the way William Shatner chokes up here, man. He should have got some kind of Oscar nomination. Seriously. So he's really gone through a lot of range here. He's talked about life and death. He'd mentioned, hey, Spock, weren't you dead earlier and shit? Now he is. They shoot the torpedo out while Scotty plays the bagpipes. Amazing Grace. It's one of the best funeral scenes in a film. Torpedo shoots around the Genesis planet as the sun comes up. Well timed. And they're reflecting on this. And then at the end we see, just before the credits start, we see Spock's casket essentially has landed safely on the Genesis planet. Where is it his final resting place? I don't know. You know, it's a little suspicious how this thing's in one piece, right? So, yeah, there are some a little bit of contrivances here. I would have liked to have seen Khan be smart than people told him to be, or that he rather is smart. But you know what? This is quite the good turnaround. I give Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan 3.5 out of 4 stars.